wines that I see more time more time to ripen than just a year. So I just want to have that influence, and also I think it's kind of, it just shows the quality you buy, right?
Yeah, true.
And I mean, we talked about the tradition, just I don't know, it's just Riesling, it belongs with it, right? So, yeah.
Because I think glass corks are actually a cool way in between, I think.
Yeah, they never really like took off in Germany. I think the machines are quite expensive, I think, and then this the silicone ring isn't, or people weren't sure with it how it would influence the wine.
Okay.
I did some tastings where all the different kinds of closures were compared to each other, but we haven't gotten to like a conclusion, a good conclusion about it. So.
Because I think it's a bit more expensive than a screw cap, right? But not nearly as much as.
I don't actually know the prices for it. We just use them for convenience for already open wines, which is quite easy or quite good. Yeah.
Thank you. And what are we drinking now?
So right now we have the Connexxion blend in our glass. It's 2019 vintage. So the blend is one of us. We do a lot of blends just for, I don't know, again, as I said, a lot of trial and error in this family. And we were always trying to find or do the blend that's purely made out of Pinot or white Pinot varieties. And that's how we've gotten to this one, which is 40% each Auxerrois Pinot Blanc, then 10% each Pinot Gris and Chardonnay. But I mean, the parts vary every year. It's just about it. And the small partners often are fermented on oak barrels, so we have this light oakiness, which makes it more full-bodied, and I think it's quite good partner for food and for like pasta dishes, for chicken, rice, and it works quite well in restaurants as well. And it's one of those people pleasers without being completely oak Chardonnay, right?
Yeah. So the nose, I think, was very feminine, so to say. It's very delicate, really, very elegant nose, and very whitish. I would say it's a really white peach flesh.
Yes.
This kind of white flowery nose. It's apple blossom and this really this light, elegant nose. But the palate, it has more weight than I expected.
Yeah.
And it really has some mid palate weight, so to say. It doesn't just run through and that's it, but it sits a bit in the mouth. Really, really nice aromas, really ripe aromas, but very light, elegant wine. How would you maybe describe it? What's your aim or own ways with this kind of cuvée?
I mean, your description was quite good so far. So our aim is to find a wine that is medium weight, but higher quality than any day-to-day drinking Pinot Blanc, right? So when you want a wine that has the potential to age for a few years and will still get better, but is also ready to drink right after bottling, and this is where the light oakiness comes into play, because you want some smoothness and I'd say it's elegant and it's smooth, but there is no corners. Like it's
exactly.
And that's nothing you would want from a wine that's just supposed to be paired well with a lot of foods and just goes well and easy drink, as still easy drinking, but more weight to it. And which just wants you to drink the wine and like get another glass or get another bottle.
Yeah, true, and that's the aim is not compromise. So
no, I'd say that's an aim for almost every wine we make, because in the end, no matter how complicated or how easy drinking you produce of a wine, in the end you want to have wine that you want to have another glass of or another bottle, because the taste in the end is the most important thing, right?
Yeah.
So
we actually just had white asparagus with sauce béarnaise. I think that would be perfect with this.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also quite long after this, but the acidity is very well integrated. So it's because Pinot Noir, Pinot Blanc, as you said also, it has some maybe corners sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's really, well rounded and just a good integration. I think it's always on the edge of aromatic side, but still kind of neutral, but very delicate. So. And what are you drinking in your free time?
Of my own wines or of wines that I buy?
Both, maybe, because you probably have some aim if you, or a special taste if you are a winemaker, right? Like you want to follow.
Yeah, I mean, I've been lucky and I've grown into a winery that is quite well known and the quality we produce is quite high. So I mean, the bet is made, right?
Yeah.
So, but I still have different views on what my father produces, and I still think I would change some things, but not everything, right? There is nothing going wrong here, so there's not everything to change, and it's quite the same with my personal taste of wines. I would say I like my wines always a little bit more on the acidity side, so a little bit more acidity, a little bit slimmer and more straightforward. But I mean, I've known our soils and I've known our wines for quite some time, and I think we're still gonna be a winery that produces Rieslings that are still or have a lot of fruit with it, because that's just how this soil, how profile works for us. But I think you could make it a quite more modern with a little bit more acidity.
Yeah.
And for our Pinot Blanc wines, I would say it's just easy drinking is the goal. Except for I don't know, the Connexxion and our high-end Pinot Blanc. And same for my private consumption, basically. But I mean, I'm open to try anything actually, because that's the fun part. Because there's so much variety in the market, and then you just want to try everything and anything, and it's always you can always get some inspiration out of it. Or as I said, you can learn how you want to do it and how you don't want to do it.
Yeah, true. And I also asked because of the soil, because volcanic soil has a little hype nowadays, I think, or more and more people got into it, and maybe just look for the connections, how these different soil types and rock type and volcanic soils just have this also salty kind of grip to it.
Yeah.
All of them, and you also mentioned it, so I'm also kind of curious if you look for specific wines which have maybe the same rock type or same microclimate.
Yeah, I mean, it's always interesting to taste those, for sure, because I don't know, of the winemaker, that he has the same soils, or that he has the same philosophy, and I don't know what he does in the summer, stuff like that. So that's always quite interesting to taste, but also I just wanna try wines from all over the world. But for sure, I'm a big German wine drinker. Okay. And if I drink Riesling, it's a lot of I'd say colleagues from nahe. Then I drink Rhino a lot. And if I go to the reds, it's a lot of Baden actually. Okay. So, yeah.
Which ones maybe?
For Baden?
Which grape varieties? Yeah.
Pinot Noir. Yeah, for sure. I mean, but it's also Pinot Noir has a little hybrid now. Right? Yeah. So, yeah. And if I drink white Riesling, it's a lot of Cabernet. Okay. But also hyped right now, so which is good. Yeah. It's just a fun way of wine. Yeah. Exactly. It's just like lemonade for grown-ups.
Sure. And the summer is coming, so lemonade for grown-ups.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And it's always, I mean, it fits always, right? It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. in the afternoon. True. Cabernet, fine. Yeah. It's middle of the night, Cabernet is fine as well. So.
Exactly, yeah. Cool. Can we taste maybe the next one?
Yeah, for sure. So next one would be from Fels, which is my, I'd say, go-to wine for every day from us.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a VDP Ortswein made from all the Riesling vineyards in Traiser. And for me, it's basically what I want from a wine in like the starting category, being the connection out of fruit and minerality as well. And still, it works on its own, but also has enough depth to it to work with food as well. I think.
Yeah, it has a lot more minerality. Actually, yeah, and the little rocks starting to bump in my mouth. These are more corners, but really delicate, so not this bladey when you have a sharp blade and you want to scratch your mouth, but
yeah, it's kind of how you said, it's a little bit rocky basically, and I think it's got some saltiness to it as well. Sure. But also you have this also white peach, but more fruity white peach, maybe also a little bit exotic. Yeah,
for me it's more citrus, to be honest. Yeah, a bit more exotic. Yeah, but it's in terms of harvest. When they harvested from this?
So this is basically dry cabinet. So early stages of Riesling harvest. I'd say you will get it with 90-ish excellent, but I mean, for me it's more how the grapes taste and how I've known the vineyards to be at the point, right? I mean, analysis like Oxla are important just to see are they ripe, but you will always have to taste the grapes if you're on the point where you want to be. And also we have a lot of plots of Riesling in Traiser, so this is also out of different vineyards in Traiser, which are coming together to show how the soils taste here.
That's more animating than
I mean, the acidity is way higher than in the Pinot blend before. So, I mean...
Yeah, but the nose is also much more... It's really... So this is what you said, it's your everyday wine, what you would like to drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And lease contact? Also?
Yeah, but not too long. I'm trying to get them off the lease somewhere between December and January for the basic Rieslings. And some, I'd say from the, it's basically at end of January, February latest, we will separate them from the lease,
But, so how was the vinification for this one?
It's stainless steel, mostly, how do we say, the just bought yeast. So we don't use a lot of commercial yeast. We don't use a lot of wild yeast, which is part of also my father's philosophy. This is something I'm more open to it than he is. But we're just doing, every year we will have some more tanks that are wild fermented.
Okay.
And they work extremely well in blends. I mean, if I blend this wine, it's 4 or 5 different Rieslings right from Traiser. So they can be one tank of wild fermented and 4 tanks of commercial yeast. And it works quite well, I think. And completely stainless steel. We do use oak for like old oak barrels for Riesling as well. For the we use big ones like 2,400 liter ones, which they don't have a lot of influence on it. And then we use small oak barrels for the GGs. So 300 liters is almost a barrique, but our own sizes from our cooperage here in the area.
You should try it. It's good. And why do you put the GGs in smaller barrels?
It's not all of the GGs, but for example, Felsenberg, we use a lot of oak with it. and it just complements the way of the vineyard, in our opinion. And it's not, some parts are fermented on oak and some are fermented on stainless steel and later put on the oak. So it's a little bit lighter. Yeah. So.
But what does it, maybe in the vinification, what is really the difference between a footer, what you say, for a footer is bigger?
No, footer is 1,000 liters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a 300 liter?
Which would, it would be Viertelstück.
Okay,
yeah,
Viertelstück. So how would you say that it changes the wine, the 300 liter and the...
I mean, for sure you have, with the 300, you have definitely oak taste, not only micro-oxidation you would get from bigger barrels. And
but still, after the second, third, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's used 10, 15 times actually, because for us, like the usage, it's more like if it's a good barrel, it'll stay a good barrel, and the impact will be less and less, but still fine.
But do you get it more in the tannins or the aromas or what is texture?
It's more the aroma and texture, I'd say. It gets way more smooth, and this in combination with the good Riesling acidity, you have like a smooth but not too heavy, but it's not too heavy, right?
Yeah.
And it kind of gives the wine some elegance and a little bit more well-rounded, which is quite the opposite of Kupfergrube, which is not on oak, which is more the straightforward shooter, which is more has some edges to it, but quite acidic. So it's just one of those ways to, I don't know, influence it, but also it's we mostly use oak for Felsenberg or as well as small parts of Bastei. So those are the vineyards that work better with oak, and then the other ones which are more primary fruit, such as Mühlbeck, we wouldn't put on oak because it would just kill like the fruitiness. Yeah. It would, I don't know, overlay it with oak.
No, I really asked this question because I work as a sommelier, but I try to work up those years which I didn't spend in as an
But yeah, I mean, that's a lot of what I tell you is also, I don't know, seeing what has worked and what hasn't worked in all those years. It's quite,
also an instinct and also some tradition, right? Tradition, we always come back to this one.
Yeah, always. Winemaking in the old wine country, it's always tradition in the end, or how to break tradition.
Yeah, but it's also interesting to, when we're talking about volcanic soils, because I come from Hungary, and in the Balaton Uplands there are a lot of, so it's basically volcanic.
Okay, yeah.
There are a lot of winemakers who also experiment with a lot of grape varieties. So for example, Chenin Blanc, which is not so traditional in the Balaton Uplands, but also Rieslings and a lot of grape varieties. And sometimes I think some wine regions have a really big advantage if they have a traditional profile. Like also in terms of grape varieties and also in vinification. When you buy a bottle, you don't have to write the grape varieties on it or where does it come from, or maybe just where it comes from and what you're gonna get. Yeah. Also in terms of texture and aromas and ageability also. So I think also because the nahe is very mixed, not only in terms of soil, but also in terms of maybe also grape varieties. It really comes down to tradition and traditional wineries, and their way of doing things and work with grape varieties, and maybe the nahe also has more faces, right? Than only really like if you think about Moser, that's Riesling, or Rheingau, that's Riesling. Yeah. But nahe has more faces, right?
Yeah, way more faces. I mean, in lower nahe, there's a lot of Pinot Blanc, a lot of Chardonnay, a lot of also reds, right? Because they have the more loamy soils. And then you go middle and upper nahe is predestined for Riesling. Yeah. They have the steep slopes. They have all those rocky soils. I mean, there's also steep slopes and rocky soils in lower nahe, but this is the main part where we are now. And since I think that's what's so hard for nahe with the customers is that they can't put a finger on how should nahe taste. Yeah. I mean, if you think Rheingau, if you think Mosel as a set, you're gonna know what you're gonna get roundabout. And if you think nahe, it's I don't know. it always depends on the winemaker. And I've recently had some customers here that are also customers that put Hermannsberg and Donhof, and they know the way around nahe.
Yeah.
And I say Traiser Rotenfels is for me, this is nahe, this is nahe Riesling. And they would say, no way, the wines from Schlossbergelheim, so Kupfergrube Felsen, would be nahe for them, which are quite different. But I mean, we produce both areas. Yeah. So just depends on where you lay your focus at now. Yeah.
I also refer to the Palatinopes because they don't have a really, I mean, they lost kind of during the communist the tradition and what the kind of the grape varieties as well, and the face.
Yeah.
But they always come back to the soil because they have all volcanic soil, and that's the sticking part maybe between them. But you also have a lot of soil types or rock types, so it's also not.
Yeah, maybe we just unite over having so many different soils. So nahe is gonna be lighter style Riesling, I'd say. Yeah. Always mineral, always rocky, like always a little bit salty. But and how you would describe it further is just completely different with every winemaker, I'd say. I'd always say, lighter, more elegant Rieslings, not as acidic as Rheingau, and not as warm as maybe Fels.
Good.
So next one, right?
Next one.
Which is Rotenfels, which is our biggest Erste Lage, and it's right there in our village as well. Also, again, red volcanic soil, as I said, our main soil. So this is basically the big brother of the Fels.
Wow. Yeah, that's also in terms of minerality we go up the level.
Yeah, I mean, you can just, if you see our range of Rieslings, you could do from this vineyard basically, you could do from the basic to the highest GG, you could just go up the ladder and always try one. And this is quite cool to just show people that we have so many different small vineyards here in this town or in this village, and you can really show them what it means to go up in quality and to go up in more, if you put more work into it, more effort, then, and you can taste it in the wine.
Yeah, really. But also I think the fruit is getting also riper.
Yes.
So almost this apricot kind of direction. We should also tie. Sorry. And this is a Premier Cru, right?
Yes, it's Premier Cru.
And where do you mostly sell your wines?
Mostly customers right in the winery, so I'd say 60-ish% actually, or even more. Then we do resellers as well, quite a few. Then small amount of export, then also small amount of restaurants directly, but they're mostly handled from or with the resellers basically.
But so the gastronomy is not your biggest?
No. Our biggest is actually the customers that contact us directly.
Okay.
So, which was quite helpful for now for the prices.
Probably that's why I also asked, because yesterday, for example, they said that they mostly sell the restaurants or Horeca, so
it's quite hard. Yeah. So we've been quite lucky. I mean, for sure we've noticed, and I mean, they're also still quite good partners, the restaurants, and you don't want to see them suffer. And I mean, you will miss those incomes, but I'd say the customers, the private customers, they've drank more than before, which is good. Yeah.
How would you describe this wine, maybe?
I mean, your description is quite good. I think it's a quite mineral but warm Riesling. but with an elegance to it because of the elegant acidity, and it's quite. I mean, you said apricot. It's just those stone fruits, basically.
Really, because I think it's interesting to see sometimes a Riesling can go really this apple direction, or this really other stone fruits, I would say. So this peachy apricot is more on this side. So yeah, you can list 5 descriptors, but it's not a WSET exam, so I don't actually prefer this. It's not, I think, not the most important part of a wine, but maybe just texture-wise and just to feel it. I would also put it maybe between Rheingau and Pfalz.
Yeah, maybe because you still have the acidity, but you have those ripe fruits and these aromas from which you would expect from Pfalz, but you have that lightness that Rheingau Riesling has.
I would say it's more elegant than I am.
Yeah,
and more. How would you say Trinkfluss is?
That's like. How would you say it in English? I don't know.
I don't know. You want to drink it.
Yeah.
No, but it is. No.
Yeah, and that's also our aim, as I said, for every wine we make. Right? Because in the end, just about the glasses and bottles you drink, and it's always supposed to be fun and not hard work. Sometimes I enjoy a wine that you can sit with for hours and it changes and it changes, and you're thinking what is happening, and you're trying to get into the wine, but in the end, you've drank a bottle over the whole night. And if you want to sit with friends, you want to drink a lot of bottles, and you want to just have fun and enjoy.
True. Exactly. Get the whispers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is. I imagine it would change, or it's good to. I have some categories of wine in my mind, and I think that fits the one that you have to buy a bottle in a restaurant and you can kind of drink the whole evening with it. Because it would be nice, I think, with a garlic cream soup as well.
Oh yeah.
But it would be also nice with some desserts, which has maybe some mascarpone or things like this, because it's nice, because it has some salinity but not aggressive acidity, and it would complement almost everything because it has this really inorganic element to it, I think. So it is slight salinity, but this but not on the magnesium side, which you have some sweetness, but really this salinity kind of rocky element, but it has nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah, for me, like, this is how nahe Riesling tastes. So this is just, if you would taste nahe Riesling, that's it for me. But if you go to any other winery, they would have another one that would taste completely different, which would be nahe Riesling for them.
Yeah. Do you also have maybe older vintages that you tried or you could try?
Yeah, we have 70. So we in the winery still have 17, 18, 19. So and I have them here, but we try to keep more stock of the old vintages, but it's hard. And often you sell it and you're like, I was supposed to keep, I don't know.
Yeah, true. And but that was maybe the oldest that you tried. I also asked it because of ageability, maybe.
Of this one?
Probably, yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know actually. I mean, as I said, our stock is quite low on aged wines, and for this one, it's always. I mean, my parents always were more the people of what is sold is fine. So they didn't keep stock of any of those. Okay. And we have some of the GGs in stock. So I think the oldest GG of ours that I've drunk is 2007. But I mean, we haven't started beforehand with the GGs, right? So it started somewhere there. And they're great. Depending on the vintage, I mean, but 13 is great as well. 10 was good, or I had a Bastille Magnum of 10, which was great. I mean, it's always fun if you have them. I have them aged GGs, but it's hard to find them, even for us in our storage.
Yeah. I guess so, but it's
I mean, for this one, I'd say 5 years for sure.
Yeah, at least. Yeah. Okay, nice. Do you have the Bastille also?
Yes,
right?
and also Hofburg.
So we have another
soil. I will just get it.
Okay.